Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today I wanted to share some of my thoughts on silver stacking, specifically as it pertains to government-made bullion rounds, 1-ounce coins, versus private issue ones, and why my opinion on how to navigate that silver stacking topic has changed. Let's dive into this and get started chatting about which ones of these I like better at the moment, because it's not what I would have said a few years ago. Let's get into the video. And as you can see on my left, I've got 5 of the government bullion silver rounds. They're effectively silver rounds, but they technically are government issued coins. And then over here, we've just got regular private mint silver. So I think, hopefully that illustrates it if you're unaware of what we're taking a look at. But like on the left, we've got like a pretty gorgeous looking, it's a really nice planchet, 1-ounce Mexican Libertad. And then on the other side, we've got, this is technically dated 2007, but as you can see, it's just some private minting company struck these. It's 1 ounce of 999 fine silver. The amount of fine silver is the same. They're exactly the same in terms of silver content, but they're not in terms of the price or the value. And that's something that's important to understand when we're thinking through this debate. And like I mentioned before, I'm going to try to make the case that you want to be sticking with the silver rounds over the silver bullion from governments in the current economy, in the current state of the silver market, because this is much different from what I would have said, 5 years ago when I made some of my other videos. But the fact of the matter is, like, when I go and look at what it costs to pick up some of the government silver, honestly, Maple Leafs are maybe like one of the exceptions. But even then, these are probably going to be like $5-6 over spot. Certainly, if you want some of the more high premium rounds like this, you're going to be paying much more than that. Like a Chinese 30 gram, or even like a Ukrainian, this is going to be like probably 2 or 3 times the actual silver value of the coin. It really doesn't make sense from a stacking perspective. Whereas on the other hand, you can probably get rounds from a local store at like 10% over spot, which is like $2-3. Some places are going to want to charge you more than that, but even online, it's generally like maybe people are selling them for $3.50, $2.50 over the spot. But when you're making an investment in silver and taking physical delivery, it's super important to understand the transaction costs, because it's not like silver is the sort of thing that historically is jumping, consistently going up like 20% or falling a bunch. And if it falls, certainly, but, I don't think that really matters whether it's falling or rising. The fact is, you don't want to take like, if you have to get in for a 15% loss immediately, that's pretty significant. And if you have to get in for like a 40% loss, that's going to really erode the amount of gains that you can get from an item like silver, especially because you're probably not going to be able to realize the full value. Like if I went and sold this to a coin shop, no chance that they're going to pay the premiums. If I went and sold it to somebody else individually, likely that they will pay the premiums, but if you need to sell it in a rush, again, that's not going to be there. I think people like in a rush would, in some sort of a we need silver fast, I'm going to be viewing these things basically the same. Outside of these, like, might be a little more confident in them because it's like a well-known, the Mexican mint is pretty well known. But I'm certainly not going to ascribe a massive premium to the non-round silver. And this goes, I probably should have brought in junk silver for this conversation as well. I think that just makes sense to try to have either junk silver or rounds at this point. But if you're a fan of sort of like the 1-ounce silver items, which I am, because I like that you can split it up. If you have like a 100-ounce silver bar, it's going to be much more challenging to like break that down into a small quantity. You're basically just stuck with something worth, $2,000, whatever it is. I like these. Now, junk silver you can split up even more, but a lot of people like to have, a roll or a tube of these types of items. But I'm more and more of the fan of just like keeping silver stacking really simple. Don't even go for a bunch of different designs. Like, pick a design or two that you like, or maybe you just are accumulating from whatever like a local store is picking up and getting through their doors. But like, silver, I don't think is the sort of thing where you want to get super creative, and I know that that's like not popular, and it would probably be better for me if I could like tell everybody to go buy super crazy silver. Like if you like this sort of thing, like I've been selling off a lot of my fancy government bullion for pretty significant losses. Like there's definitely a lot of appeal in owning it from like an art standpoint, but then you have to understand that, okay, now at this point I'm like being a collector of coins who's paying up for like a nice design, or a collector of silver rounds, as opposed to like somebody who's investing in the material. Because if you're like investing in silver, it's really just about acquiring silver for a low cost entry and then having it go up. Because again, if silver's $20, you have to pay $22. Silver goes to 24. A coin shop's probably not going to give you $26 for it. You're probably going to lose the premium. And you know, things like even like these like fees on platforms that you have to sell on, for the most part, you know, if you're buying silver that's $50 instead of $25, you're gonna have to pay more fees on it. So I've just been really like hammering in on this point of like, go out and source like cheap silver. That's really the best thing. If you can pick up a nice design, great. If you can find rounds like this one that are really pretty problem free, you know, they don't have very many blemishes, that's great. I think that will not, you know, having a little bit of prudence in selecting rounds that look good can't hurt at all. But I don't know, if it gets too complicated, then it's like more of a hobby. And I would say, and maybe this is bad advice, but in the coins and collecting versus like stacking, if you're going to be paying for stuff, you know, if you have $500, I would much rather go and buy $250, 10 ounces of silver, and then $250 of like interesting ancient or world coins, or like a nice US type coin or two, than buy 10 ounces of like really fancy and wild looking silver. And maybe that's like just because I'm a big fan of coins, but like I feel like that makes more sense to me. Or like buy some world silver that's a little bit higher premium, because you know, it tells a really interesting story. But buying like the modern government world silver, I think has less appeal to it. You know, the Onza is probably not the best example, but like, you know, buying Britannias, because, you know, Britannias are actually one of the lowest premium items. But what I'm saying is, if you could source cheaper silver, buy the cheaper silver, and then buy like some early 1800s British coins, because you like the British history. That's how I'm thinking about it. Let me know if you have a different opinion. I'm always, you know, reading the comments and try to inform myself and get a good sense for what people are thinking as well through those. And yeah, let me know what you thought.
Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to visit our website, treasuretown.com, to stay up to date on everything going on the channel and possibly get some great deals on coins and collectibles. We look forward to seeing you on our future videos, and best wishes until then.